songwriter, and I've been poor before. And once I started years ago having my first album, 16 albums ago, we had some success. I understood how privileged I was to get to make my own music and write it and record it each year. And I've never actually picked up and took a year off. And that diligent work that we do has earned us a tremendous amount of success. I go every year. Also outside of my tour, I go do a European tour every other year, but every year I do a USA tour, and also do a USO tour for the troops, and done 180 shows over there.
Wow! And what's in your mind when you're doing those? Because you're in an element of danger. You're going somewhere that is not. You don't have the creature comforts that you might have on a tour of the US, for instance. Why do you do that?
I think after I went on my first one, people have asked me. They said, when you go on your first one, you've always done that. You don't have to do it anymore. And I saw such a big void there and what is the nice break away from their day-to-day. Hammering and knocking on doors and walking house to house and living on the edge as they do, to be able to sit down with them, get their gear off, get their what they call battle rattle, get their flak vests and their helmets, lay their gun down and sit there and just enjoy life. Music's a very bonding thing, and they get to sit and enjoy that, and I saw that need for it, and I've just progressively went back every year, and we try to champion the cause of getting other artists to go.
I've always said to anybody who kind of has any political disagreements with the wars that we've fought over the last decade and everything, the one thing that nobody can argue with, you spend 5 minutes with our troops, and I've done it in Afghanistan and Iraq as well, you spend 5 minutes with them, and it's impossible not to have the deepest admiration for those people who are just doing the job they signed up to do.
Yeah, most of the people who I think would rail against them have never met them or have never been in a situation where they see what their job is. And I wish we had a big button we could push and peace would be here forever, but when our government does decide that there's places that our troops need to go, they're there to answer the cause, and when we're not at war, they're protecting the perimeter and making sure that this country is taken care of, and they're always on the watch, and we're very always in ever able hands, and I appreciate the fact that there are people that will volunteer to go do that, and I love to go, and like I said, there's a void for that, so we try to get other artists to go.
All right, let's talk about the music. 16th album, as you just said, released this week, Clancy's Tavern.
Clancy's Tavern.
Well, what have you tried to do on this that you haven't done before, perhaps?
I don't know if I ever do anything different. I think I write all year long. At the end of the year, I take the things that move me the most and record them. I have one song that's a very fond childhood memory of mine of being 11 or 12 years old and going. My grandmother had a nightclub, and it was actually an old-fashioned supper club that had a tavern in the front and fine dining in the back, or finer dining than the tavern. And I was writing an Irish waltz song, and it sounded like one of those songs that you would sing in an Irish pub. And I needed a song about a bar, and I brought all the characters from my grandmother's bar along, and we reopened Clancy's Tavern.
Right, and what drives you in the writing? What's going through your mind? You say you write all your own songs, and you write all the time. What do you pick up on?
The best way I can explain it is I've been writing almost all my life. I didn't know it that I was a songwriter until, of course, I grew up. But when I'm having conversation or I'm living life, I see things, and I'm constantly asking myself, is that a song? And it's like an involuntary muscle movement. It's like blinking your eyes. You don't count how many times a day you do it, and it's not a big stress on you or a burden to blink your eyes. It's the same way with me. My mind is so trained at listening to conversation and watching relationships and watching the world go by, that I just constantly am looking for the next song, and so I write all year long. At the end of the year I record it, and this is what I did last year. All
right, great. Well, it's great to have you here, Toby. I'm sorry we can't hear you live, but we are going to play out now with some music from Toby Keith. As Gregory Rossetti said on our chat, a great American. It's been great having you in the studio.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
Good luck with the album. The album, Clancy's Tavern, available iTunes and everywhere else you buy your music these days. Here's Toby Keith now. Thank you.